Hello, this is the Toronto Gamers board game review, and I am Justin. Today I'll be reviewing Dragoon. Dragoon is a 2 to 4 player competitive game with elements of tile placement and area control. It originated as a Kickstarter and is published by Lay Waste Games. In Dragoon, you play the role of a dragon trying to hoard gold. The story goes that you and your fellow dragons lived peacefully on the island until humans came and awakened your instincts to dominate and hoard as much gold as you can. Rules are on the website below, just like usual. We won't be going through them, instead focusing on our impressions of the game itself. So there's no debate that the components in Dragoon are absolutely gorgeous and one of the best parts of the game. The dragons, totems, caves, and score markers are made of metal in 4 different colors. Seriously, metal. These are the wow factor of the game, and I have to say that in a game about gathering treasure, playing with these heavy metal components really helps to highlight that aspect of the theme in a fun and concrete way. Both the game and scoreboards are made of a thick fabric screen printed with the information you need. It's a unique touch that you don't see often in board games, and because the components are all quite hefty, they hold the fabric down and eliminate any worry you'd have with cardboard tokens being moved around by folds in the board. The cards and tiles are satisfactory, and the artwork is fairly minimal and has a strong style. The lack of color and stark, angular art style might turn some players off, but serves very well to tie into the different materials, which I imagine would be difficult to do given the limitations of sculpting metal figures and screen printing on fabric board. Fantasy themes aren't uncommon in board games, but the twist of playing as a dragon instead of as the hero slaying the dragon makes Dragoon stand out. Thematically, the game makes sense. You're a dragon, stealing gold from villages and other dragons. Even the thief, which is basically a moving target from which to steal more gold, ties in well enough. Though that there's a role named Thief that doesn't primarily steal from US players or really deplete any sort of supply in the game does seem odd. While the theme works, it never really soars. Most of the dragon-like elements of the theme are in the card powers instead of the core gameplay, and moving 1 or 2 spaces on a board never really feels like you're a powerful dragon flying across the skies, or really all that different from if you were another type of token walking from village to village. Gameplay is divided into 3 phases: populate, action, and tribute. In the first phase, you roll dice to see where humans will populate villages or cities. In the second phase, you draw a card, which is where all the fun gameplay is, and take actions such as moving, claiming villages for your own, destroying villages for immediate profit, or fighting and stealing from other dragons. And in the tribute phase, you roll dice to see how much each village or city you've claimed pays you. First player to 50 gold wins. Gameplay is straightforward, but almost too reliant on dice rolls and card draws to be satisfying. For example, in one game we played, where the rolls just happened to be that nearly all the villages consistently ended up near only 2 out of the 4 players, those not near the villages really didn't feel they had a chance to succeed. That there's very limited movement, which also feels odd for playing as creatures that are huge and can supposedly soar across the skies, and having a need to protect your own cave from other dragons means it's a huge risk and multiple turn commitment to cross the board and reach the villages that you need. Theoretically, the cards you draw could negate some of that, but those are random as well. So in our case, we had experiences with those 2 dragons who are near all the villages also drawing multiple copies of some of the most powerful cards. There weren't really any mechanisms in place to effectively combat such a high degree of randomness in village placement and card draws. While Dragoon is billed as an action strategy game, there doesn't feel to be much of either here. Elements like limited movement mean you don't really feel the action of being a powerful and majestic dragon, and the high degree of randomness in both village placement and card draws means you don't have much opportunity to actually use strategy. I could imagine some house ruling might mitigate this, and shift the game firmly into light strategy territory for casual gamers, but casual gamers don't tend to think about house ruling that often. I even have a hard time recommending Dragoon as a filler game, given its 30 to 60 minute length pushes that time frame a bit for me. And while the components are gorgeous, thematically, I never really felt like a dragon, so even the theme doesn't really tip the scales for me. While I can appreciate some casual gamers enjoying Dragoon, appreciating the components, and even enjoying the random elements, sadly I found the gameplay and theme didn't quite live up to the high production value and interesting premise. Certainly give it a go at your local board game cafe or if a friend you know has purchased it, even if just to have the joy of playing with these solid, beautiful metal pieces. But I'm just not sure there's enough there that you'll be clamoring to play Dragoon again.